By the time all these things happened, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna, they performed the Pindadanam and Tilodakam and everything. And then by that time, everybody got to know that, oh, these people have met each other. So this is the place where Rama resides. Every person in the army, the people who followed Bharata, everybody knew. So far, only Bharata, Shatrughna, Sumantra, and Rama, Lakshmana, Sita. Only these many people were there. But now comes the crowd. So everybody knew and they came. And this is when Kausalya actually speaks very highly of Lakshmana. Kausalya looks up to Sumitra and she says that, see, I'm very sure that this is the famous Ganga Nadi. This is the famous river. I'm very sure this is the place from where your son, Lakshmana, voluntarily brings water to my son. And I have not seen a person like Lakshmana in my entire life. How dedicated Lakshmana is towards his brother. I mean, I genuinely wish that may his hardship end today. So what does she mean when she says that may Lakshmana's hardship end today? What she means is, let us all go back to Ayodhya. Let your son not go through these many hardships for the sake of my son. That's the kind of bonding, that's the kind of concern that Kausalya had for Lakshmana. And then she saw the Ingudi Pindam. She saw the Pindam, and then she tells that, see, I'm very sure that this is the Pindam given by Rama and Lakshmana to his beloved father. Is there a difficult side to a woman other than this? And Kausalya explains this by herself. What a day has come to me that I have to see my son putting a pindam for his father, that is my husband, and I have to see it. What a day has come to me. So that's what really hurt Kausalya. And then she also says the same thing, that yadannah purushaha bhavati tadannastasya devata. Again, the repetition of the same thing. And then everybody meet each other. Rama touched their feet and did pranams to them. And when after Rama, Lakshmana did. And when Sita touched their feet, they hugged her. They were unconsolable. They could not control their tears. They said that, how did Rama look when they saw him for the first time after he left Ayodhya? Imagine looking at a lotus in the scorching heat of May. In the scorching heat of May, at around 12:30 in the afternoon, imagine looking at a lotus. That's how Rama looked to their eyes. And then imagine a gold bar covered with dust. That's how Rama looked to them. So, and then everybody was interested at who is going to break the ice, who is going to start speaking. If you put so many great people in one room, it's always going to be a very important question, that who is going to speak first. Everybody are curiously waiting, who is going to begin speaking. By that time, everybody was thinking it was almost night, it was almost sunset. So they all went back, they rested. And early in the morning, they woke up, they did all their Nitya Karmas, and again they assembled in the same place. The curiosity had not even moved even an inch throughout the night. They were still curious that who is going to speak? What is Bharata going to speak? Is Rama going to accept his offer? Is Rama going to come back to Ayodhya? They could not wait to know what is going to happen. Now, Bharata finally began to speak. So this is round one of the great debate. He begins with a very bold statement, like how advocates usually do their arguments in a courtroom. That's exactly how Bharata begins. Opening statement of Bharata. He says that Santvita Mamika Mata. You took care, you acted according to the whims and fancies of my mother. Well done to you. And Dattam Rajyamidam Mama. Enough with giving me the Rajyam, enough with giving me the kingdom. Both of them are done. Now, Taddadami Tavaivaham. Now I am returning back to you. Is there any reason that you don't want to accept it back? Why won't you accept it back? Fine, you said that, I have to keep my father's words. Fine, you keep your father's words. He gave this kingdom to me. I am giving this back to you. Why don't you accept it? And he gives his reasoning as well. What was his reason? A beautiful description that Bharata puts in. He says that he's trying to be tough, but he's not that tough. He's breaking down from within. He says to his brother that I cannot hold on this huge bridge of kingdom. Imagine that a kingdom is like a bridge and he has to hold it together. And Bharata is saying that I'm unable. I'm incapable of holding this bridge together. If I really did get into taking care of this kingdom, if I really did become a king, do you know how ridiculous it would look like? He himself gives an example. Gatim khara ivashvasya. It would be like a donkey imitating the steps of a horse. It would be like a sparrow imitating the great Garuda. It would be impossible for me to follow your footsteps. It would be impossible for me to rule the kingdom when you are still alive, when you are still here. And without your guidance, I am unable to run this kingdom. This is my inability that is begging me, that is making me beg you to come back, take back this kingdom, because I am not able to handle this kingdom. And then he says that usually what people do is, they plant a small sapling, it grows into a tree. His wish was to get fruits from it. It's not bearing any fruits. It stops at giving flowers. That's all. And beyond that, the tree has stopped giving anything. What does a man do with that kind of a tree? He ignores it. He leaves it. That is me. I have reached that stage. I cannot go further. I cannot bear the fruits of Rajadharma. I cannot bring fruits to the people of this kingdom. That job only belongs to you. Only you can do that. I cannot. And then he says that this is all that I have to say to you. I am incapable of ruling this kingdom. Please come back. And he breaks down. Bharata broke down at that point. Now, Rama again, samashvasayat. He consoled Bharata and then he goes on. Now you will see why I told that you can find the miniature version of Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira hidden in Rama. You can find all the philosophers, all the Upanishads put into one man, Rama. He starts speaking. He says that a man cannot make his own life. First statement. Statement number one. These few words are going to change the perspective of life for many people. It did to me, and I hope it does the same thing to you. Natmanah kamakarohi. Our wishes, our desires, our fancies, it won't work. My life, my rules, it's only fancy thing to say. It doesn't work that way. Why? Purushoya manishvaraha. This man, he's incapable of everything, anything. Why? Because itascha, itaretarascha enam kritantah parikarishati. Do you know who is our Bap? The death, kritantah. He is dragging us according to his whims and fancies. And if we think that I live my life according to myself, I am the biggest fool. I live according to the whims and fancies of death. The only other person who had this thought, you go to Kathopanishad, you will find the exact same statement made by Nachiketa. He told this to Yama when he offered him long life. He said that, I don't want that. We live as long as you want. So it's death's wish for how long we live. And then he goes that another iconic statement of Ramayana, Sarve Kshayanta Nichayaha. All collections, Nichaya means collections, all collections end with loss. Nothing stays forever. Sarve Kshayanta Nichaya. And then Patananta Samuchrayaha. All tall buildings, everything that is tall falls down. Patananta Samuchrayaha. Sanyoga Viprayogantaha. Remember this. Every joining, every bond, everything that comes together ends up in separation. Maranantancha Jeevitam. Life, every single life ends in death. This is the truth of life. Remember these 4 points. Sarve Kshayanta Nichaya. Whatever you accumulate is not going to stay with you for a long time. There is no such thing called as forever in life. It has to end in one way or the other. And then he says that he gives an example. You see a fruit in a tree. A fruit at a tree, in a tree, has only one fear. What does it fear from? It fears from falling. Apart from falling, it has no other fear. Likewise, every human being has only one fear, fear of death. Now, you must have heard me before as well. I keep on saying this. There is only one thing that scares us all the most. That is death. That is not my words. That is Rama's words. Evam narasya jatasya nanyatra maranad bhayam. Apart from marana, apart from death, there is nothing in this world that scares us. And he gives plenty of examples. How everything that is so strong, that appears so strong, will diminish one day. Ahoratrani gachanti. The same idea that Bhagavad Padaha put it in his Bhajagovinda Stotram. Dinayaminyau sayam prataha. Shishira vasantau punarayataha. Kalaha kridati. See, look at the word Bhagavad Padaha has used. The death plays with us. It's a krida for him. Kalah kridati. Gacchati ayuhu. What is our fate? Tadapi na munchati asha vayuhu. Even at that moment, we cannot realize the fact that, I should not have any more desires in life. I still have desires. I want to buy a house. I want to have children. I want to buy a car. Endless, limitless. Okay. Yeah. Suffering is also a kind of, the fear of death installs that it is like, a virus installed by death. That's also suffering, pain, agony, falling, failing, everything. These are the minions of death, if I can call them so. They are minions of death. The only thing that scares us is the death. Okay, moving on. So, Atmana Manushochatvam. Why don't you worry about yourself? Sahaiva mrityur vrajati. Another iconic statement. Do you think death waits for us at the end of some tunnel? There is no tunnel. You go by air, you go by road, you go by water, you go by any means in this world. Death always waits for you. How? Because it walks besides you. Okay. So never ever hold your husband and wife. If they hold each other's hands and walk, just remind them. Sahaiva mrityur vrajati. I'm just trying to make the environment a little bit of eased out. That's why I made this improper joke. Please excuse me. Moving ahead. Sahaiva mrityur vrajati. Where is death? This is the question that most people ask. Where is death? Death is with us. Sahaiva mrityur vrajati. Saha mrityur nishidati. It walks with us. It sleeps with us. It sits with us. It eats with us. And then he says that Gatva Sudirghamadhvanam Sahamrutyur Nivartate. And it walks with us for a very long time, a very long way, and then it leaves us. That is death. And then he gives a beautiful example. Nandanti udite aditya. People enjoy sunrises. There are two sets of people. You can see them, you can find them on Instagram or any social media. There are some people who love sunsets, sunrises, and there are some people who enjoy sunsets. But they don't get the point that Rama is trying to make. He says that Nandanti udite aditya. When the sun rises, there are people who enjoy. And then Nandanti astamite ahani. And then there are people who enjoy the sunset. But Atmano nava buddhyante manushyaha jivitakshem. They don't understand that their life is going down inch by inch, day by day. They are unaware of it. We are unaware of it every day. Okay. And then he says that like seasons, everything moves, right? The winter is not going to last longer. And the summer is also not going to last longer. Everything moves on. Likewise, evam bharyascha, putrascha, jnatayascha, vasunicha, sametya, vyavadhavanti, dhruvo hyesham vinabhavaha. I just wanted to highlight this shloka because this is where the gist of all the Upanishads lie. The Upadesh of Krishna to Arjuna in Gita, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihhyate. This is vairagya. This is the seed of vairagya. Like how seasons leave us every time. Likewise, our friends, our family, our children, our wife, husband, everybody leaves. There is only one thing that stays forever. Do you know what is that? Vinabhava. That they don't long forever, that they don't stay forever, is the only thing that is permanent in this world. The only thing that is permanent in this world is that nothing is permanent. That's the statement. Dhruvo hyesham vinabhava. And then he says that, so, like how a man walks the path that has been walked by many people, my dear brother, even I have been walking the path that many of my ancestors have walked. I am not setting a trend. I am not a trend setter. I am a man who simply, merely is following the footsteps of my elders, of my ancestors. I am not doing some extraordinary thing. Never think that he did an extraordinary thing. He did a very common thing. That is to follow the steps of his ancestors. That's why he says that Atma Sukhe Niyoktavyaha. What should be the purpose of life? Sukham. What is Sukham? That Paramanandam, that ultimate bliss. That's the only thing that we need to do. And he says that our father, he has departed. He has reached Swarga. He attained Swarga because he did his duty. He performed his responsibilities correctly. Nasa Shochyaf Pita. And we must not worry about him. We must not be shedding tears for him. Why? Because he has already reached his place. Yeah, the shoka, the pain, the dukkha that we face is momentary. This is the realization. This is the same man who, just a few minutes ago, as you saw, the one who broke down when he heard the news that his father is no more. He performed his duties and then he's moving on. It doesn't mean that he is disrespecting his ancestors. He is not. But this is detachment. One must focus on his responsibilities, on his duties. That's all. That is life. Isn't that the whole gist of Krishna's Upadesha to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita? Karmanyevadhikaraste. You see, the seeds are already sown by Valmiki. Moving ahead. And then he says that this is very common. Death comes to everybody. So people like you and me, we should not be brought down by these kind of emotions. We are not emotional men. We should be able to control these emotions better because people look up to us. So, swastho bhava, ma shoko yatu. Okay, ma shokaha bhavatu. It means, awake and realize that you have a duty to perform. So, vraja, avasatam puri, go and live your life in Ayodhya. Do as you have been asked to, and I will perform what I have been asked. I have been asked by my father to stay in the forest for 14 years. I'm going to do that. You have been asked to be the king of Ayodhya. Go and be a king of Ayodhya. That's all he says. But Bharata was not willing to go back. Do you think Bharata is going to accept it with few philosophy lectures of Rama? He had better lecturers teaching him Vedanta and philosophy at his college. So Bharata was not going to buy any of his brother's words. So he says that, my dear brother, there can be no other person like you in this world. It's very easy for you to say all these things. It's very easy for you to follow all these things that you are saying. But not for me. I cannot. Okay. You are Sarvajna. You are Sarvadarshi. You can do all these things that you are saying. But whatever my mother did in my absence, I cannot forget that. I somehow feel guilty that it's because of me that you are in forest. That is Bharata for you. See the way he's changing the course of debate. That's why the session's title is The Great Debate. These are debating skills. He's changing the course of debate very cleverly. And he says that I am sorry that it all happened in my absence and I became the central character when my mother did all these hideous things. And I have been bound by dharma. I am bound by dharma. That is the reason why I am not killing her. I should have executed her. She deserves that. And yet I am not doing it. Why? Because dharma, it's holding me back. And do you want me to talk about my father? I don't want to talk about him. Why? What is the reason? He says that Guru, first of all, he's like a guru to me. Not like, he is a guru to me. And he has done all his responsibilities. And he is no more. You should never speak ill of a departed soul. I mean, a person who is no more, you don't speak ill of them. And especially in front of so many people. So I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to comment anything on my father and the ridiculous decision that he took to send you to forest. So let me restrain myself from speaking those harsh truths. I think I can summarize my father's decision in one line. I've heard that usually people take some bad decisions when their end time approaches them. Vinashakale viparita buddhi. That's all he said. Buddhivantarige matra. So those who are intelligent, those who are clever, they may understand what Bharata is hinting at. That my father was not a good decision maker. He took a terrible decision. That's all I'm going to say. And he made it true. See what kind of a decision he took? He says that whatever our father has done wrong, isn't it the responsibility of the son to correct it, to rectify it? That's the duty of a son. See the point Bharata is trying to make. Very clever fellow. That's why I said you will see a different Bharata once he starts speaking. Now, this is Bharata for you. What a strong statement he's making. He's saying that it is a son's duty. You are so much focused on doing your duty, right? Doing your swadharma. This is also your dharma, my dear brother, to rectify, to correct what has been done wrong by our father. So why don't you do that? And he says that piturhi samatikrantam. Yes, putro yes sadhu manyate. A child, a son who rectifies the mistakes done by his father is alone to be called as a putra. He is a true son. Otherwise, he is not a son at all. So this is your golden opportunity to correct the wrong that has been done. And then there is one more point. Yeshahi kshatriyasya prathamo dharma. This is Kshatriya's first and foremost responsibility, first and foremost duty. That is his first and foremost dharma. What? Abhishayachanam, to get crowned as the king. That is why you are born as a Kshatriya, to rule. to take care of the people. You have that ability, and that is your Swadharma. And why would anybody leave this and stay like a forester, stay like a Muni? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very nice point. But that shows the maturity of Bharata. That's why I said you see a different Bharata altogether in these 4-5 chapters. And then he says that Grihasthashrama is the greatest ashrama of all 4. And then he says that I am younger to you by birth, by knowledge, and by action. I cannot supersede you. Shrutena balaha, sthanena balaha, janmana balaha, bhavatohya. Sakatham balayishyami. How can I be able to take care of the kingdom? Especially bhavati tishtati, when you are still alive. How can I take up the task? And I don't want to live without you. So either you are coming back to Ayodhya, or I am not going back to Ayodhya. You have only 2 options. In spite of all these words, Nachaiva Chakre Gamanaya Sattvavan Matim Pitustad Vachane Pratishtita. Rama did not even flinch an inch. He did not even move. Okay, fine, you speak very beautifully. You're a good orator. Well done to you. But I am not changing my decision. The entire people were curiously looking at Rama. Will Rama budge to the argument of Bharata? Rama's answer is here for you. Absolutely. No, Rama's answer is Upapannam idam vakyam. You speak very logically, my brother. See, logical is the word. Upapannam means logical. You are very logical. And it proves that you are a true son of Daśaratha. Okay. But let me remind you a few things which you have missed. Who is a putra? The most famous line that has ever been told. He says that this is a story told by a man named Gaya in the place named Gaya. And he says that he defines who is a putra. Punnamno narakad yasmat pitaram trayate sutaha tasmat putra iti proktaha pitrinyaf pati sarvataha. He who protects his pitrus, he who protects his ancestors from everywhere, he is called as putra. Not only that, he who protects his ancestors from falling down into the black hole called as put. The name of Naraka is Put. You can find the name Put, the Naraka's name Put, in the list provided by Bhagavata. If you read Bhagavatam in 5th Skandha, you will find a list of Swargas, you will find a list of Narakas. And in that list, Put is also mentioned. So he who protects his ancestors from the Naraka called as Put is called as Putra. And how he does that? By making sure that his ancestors remain true to their words. 14 years. How am I going to finish 14 years? You cannot buy time. You cannot transfer time. Time is immovable. It only moves with its own pace. We cannot fasten it. We cannot slower it. So Rama's question is, you speak logically. That was sarcastic. Welcome to Rama's Sarcasm 101. This is Rama's sarcasm. You will find plenty of examples. I can quote several examples of Rama's sarcasm. This is one of it. He says that you speak so logically, so many things you said, but you did not consider that I have been told to live in forest for 14 years. How do I finish 14 years in 14 minutes? Is it possible? Logically? You speak very logically. Okay? And then he says that Yeshtavya Bhavav Putraha. This is the reason why earlier, back in those days, people used to have plenty of children. Dashasyam putra nadhehi patimeka dashankradhi. This was the Ashirvadam, the Veda Ashirvadam. The Veda itself says that Dashasyam putra nadhehi. A minimum of 10 sons a woman should bear. The couple should have at least 10 sons. Why? Yeshtavya bhavav putraha. Why? Because at least one of them will go to Gaya. and perform the final rites of their ancestors. That's the value of having children. The only thing why children are had by parents is so that they will take care of them even after they are dead, even after their mortal body has fallen down. Because whatever they have given to us, it's impossible to repay them back. So this is the least that we can do. So every great Rajarshi has done the same thing, Bharata. They have made sure that their ancestors remained true to their words. Daśaratha gave his word to Kaikeyi. You know the story, right? Do I have to remind you? He gave his word to Kaikeyi, and he must remain true to his words. Otherwise, neither you nor me are going to be a true son of Daśaratha. We are going to put him in Naraka because he fell off from his words. If you break your word, you are going to Naraka. You're going to hell. And I am not willing to put my father to hell. So, Ayodhya Gacha Bharata. Go back to Ayodhya and take care of the people, take care of the kingdom. And I shall stay in the forest for the remaining years. Now, when this debate was going on between two brothers, what is the golden thing that all our parents taught us in our childhood? When two people are speaking, don't go and speak in between. But Jabali, a great Maharshi, he could not hold back his emotions. He could not hold back, he could not consider the fact that Rama is not going to come back. He started speaking. He gave him the to Daśaratha. Daśaratha is dead. He is food for people now. He is food for creatures now. He is no more. Forget about him. You are here. Only thing that is going to stay with you is what you achieve in this life. Forget about that afterlife, dharma. What are you saying all these things about? Why are you saying all these things? See, this person, he was completely mute. Indrajit, because Indrajit was invincible. Indrajit was invincible. Nobody can beat him. Nobody had beaten him on the battlefield. Lakshmana did, and only Lakshmana could do it. That's the value you put on a person like Lakshmana. So debating is not his skill. His skill is to defeat the invincible enemy. So we will discuss it later. All right. Now, Jabali gives this Upadesha to Rama. He says that, Ayodhya is waiting for you. Forget about all these things. Come back to Ayodhya, rule, live, enjoy your life, live your life to fullest, and etc. Instagram quotes. Okay, all these things. Rama was furious. Not that furious when he made even the king of oceans, thundering when he said that, bring my bow and arrow, I will narrow down this and I will finish this ocean. No, not that kind of anger, but he was furious. He was upset. He was sad that a person of this stature, a rishi like Jabali, is he speaking like all this nonsense? How can you speak all these things? And he asks one simple question, that is, this is adharma. This is clear adharma, right? And if I, by any chance, by putting on or showcasing it to the world that I am doing dharma, I am doing this for the sake of dharma, and if I take up this suggestion that you are putting in front of me and do this, kaschetayanah purushaha karyakarya vijikshana bahumanye tamam loke durvrittam lokadushan. What kind of a sane man in this world would look up to me, would even consider talking about me if I did this ridiculous thing that you are asking me to? Do you have any idea? Isn't this the responsibility of a royal family? People look up to us every day, every moment, every second. It's a public life forever for them. Okay. So that's why usually you don't find hypocrites amongst the true Kshatriyas, because A true Kshatriya's life is a public life, not a scholar's life, not our life. Our life need not be a public life. But we forcefully want to be a public figure. How? We want to showcase it to the world, all our dirty laundry. And then we complain the same bloody word that they are pointing fingers at me. Who are they to judge me? You bloody yourself ask them to judge you when you put your laundry out to the world. We should never do such things which we are not capable enough to take care of. But for royalty, for royal family, it is their responsibility. They can take care of it very well. They can go to any extent to maintain their image, because image is everything for them, not for us. We are commoners. We are ordinary people. We are not extraordinary. Just because a person has 10,000 followers on some social media, he doesn't become a celebrity. Just because he has acted in a few movies, he doesn't become a celebrity, because he doesn't have the pedigree to become a leader like Rama. Do you think a film actor is a celebrity? He's a useless fellow who is putting on color on his face to work for his bread. He's working to earn his bread. If he has any opinion about many things in this world, it is his opinion. His opinions doesn't matter. A lion doesn't concern itself with the opinions of sheep. He is a sheep. His opinions doesn't matter. Either you can follow the lion, you can live under the Raj of lion because he is the king of jungle, or you can follow the sheep and be in amongst the herd, directed by a shepherd. Okay, fine, sorry. Moving on. Now, Rama is furious, so I think that kind of furiousness has also gotten into me, and it's diverting me towards other subjects. I'm very sorry. So he says one point that Yadvrittas santi rajanaha. What kind of behavior a king possesses, the people do follow the same footsteps. Yatha raja tatha prajaha. The famous line that is taken from Ramayana. So that's why I'm not going to do whatever you are saying. And he then goes on in length talking about Satya, truth, staying true to your word. Is there a better example than this? We give word to so many people every day and we break our words every day. It has become a habit for us. That is the reason why we cannot estimate the intensity of Rama's words when he says that Satyameva Ishvaro Loke, truth is the true Lord in this world. And he says that Satyamulani Sarvani, Satyan Nasti Parampadam. There is nothing beyond, or there is nothing greater than truth. Truth is everything. It is the truth on which Satyena Uttabhita Bhumi, Vedavakyam. This is what Veda says. Satyena Uttabhita Bhumi. This entire world stands on Satya, truthfulness. And how truthful we have been to our own words, we can judge ourselves. And then he says that, Kayena Kurute Papam, we perform very hideous things through our actions, and sometimes we think wrong thoughts, and sometimes we speak untruth, we speak a lie. So this is how we perform three types of patakam. And if we perform this kind of patakam, we have no place on this earth, because this entire earth is placed on Satya, truthfulness. One attribute, one man, one attribute. You pick any attribute, and I'm very sure that I will prove that attribute existed in Rama. And he stood for that. He was an epitome of every great attribute. He says that how can I, after I have given my word to my parents that I will go to forest for 14 years, how can I break my word? You are asking me to break my word? It was unheard. It was unimaginable for Rama. For us, it doesn't even go into our bheja. No, it doesn't pierce our thick minds because we have been so much used to breaking our words that it doesn't matter to us. For Rama, it mattered a lot. If you break your word, you are lost, you are finished. And then he goes on in length, and he finally, he puts out his frustration, and he says that, I don't know how my father selected you as one of his counselors. You are unfit to be a counselor. Oh, that was a bit rash and a bit harsh on a rishi like Jabali. So Jabali immediately apologizes to Rama and says that, Prabhu, my only intention was to bring you back to Ayodhya by hook or crook. I am not a supporter of this kind of adharma. I know what you truly are. I totally understand what you mean. But I was trying my level best to bring you back. So this was a brief break, an advertisement in between the great debate that was happening between two brothers. Now Vasishtha steps in. He wanted to console Rama. And he said that, don't worry, Jabali did not want to speak all these things. His only intention was to bring you back. Everything sorted out. And then Vasishtha puts forth the point. He wants to step in. Imagine a debating team with the likes of Jabali, Bharata, and Vasishtha. And on the opposite side, you have Rama. So if I'm a gambler and if I have to put my money, I'm always going to put my money on Rama. Because there is nobody in this world who can beat Rama in a debate. Uttara uttara yuktinam bhakta vachaspatiriyatha. That's what Valmiki said. Rama was like Brihaspati. Rama was like Devaguru when it came to debating. Nobody could beat him. Okay, so he narrates the entire family tree of Rama, and he says that Ikshvakunam hi sarvesham raja bhavati purvajaha. Rama, this is the golden rule that has been followed in your family. I am an old man. I have lived to see so many kings in my life, and I have always seen that it is the eldest son who gets the kingdom. So your brother Bharata is absolutely right. You are the rightful heir to the throne. You should get the throne. And then Bharatasya vachah kurvan, and you should accept Bharata's offer. You should come back to Ayodhya. And that is right. And don't you think you should also consider your mother, Kausalya? Don't you think she wants you to be at Ayodhya? Look at the point again, how difficult it is for Rama to counter this point. You value both your parents equally, right? So you are saying that you are going to stick to your father's words. What about your mother? Doesn't she have any say on your life? She wants you to come back to Ayodhya. Why don't you come back? Okay. My dear Guru, you are absolutely right. And he says one of the most beautiful lines that you will ever hear in Ramayana. He says that Yanmata pitarau vrittam tanaye kuruta sada nasupratikaram tattu matra pitra chayat. There is nothing in this world a child can do to repay what his parents have done to him. It's impossible. There is nothing in this world that we can do to repay back our parents. You're absolutely right. I cannot repay back what my parents have done to me. But my father gave me an order first, right? You also know that he who gives the order first, that needs to be completed, isn't it? I cannot supersede it. I cannot overpower it with somebody else's orders. So I am definitely going to follow and stay true to the words of my father. Now Bharata took the extreme step. He says that Sumantra, bring Darbhasanam. I am going to sit here in front of my brother. Either he is coming back with me to Ayodhya, or I am, Pranatyagam. I am going to leave my body in front of my brother. Until he comes back to Ayodhya, I am not going back. This is childlike, isn't it? Don't you think so? I feel so. With all due respect to Bharata, you have heard me. I cry when I talk about Bharata, but it's the same me who is saying that this is childlike. You don't go to this extent to win an argument. This is like arguing for the sake of argument. You're not saying the logic at all. And then Rama comes back with a response. And he says that Brahmano hi eka parshvena naran rodhu miharati. Don't you know, Bharata, that this kind of measure, this kind of a step that you have taken, that is only considered that has been only told to be done by Brahmanas and not Kshatriyas. A Kshatriya cannot do this kind of a thing because it is ridiculous. A Kshatriya is supposed to fight till the last breath. He cannot give up like this. So that's not how things are done. So why don't you go back? Then he looks at Rama, looked at the jury members, all the people who were listening so far so curiously, without flinching an eye. He asked, why don't you give your decision? You have been hearing to our conversations. Who do you think is right? Why don't you give your decision? And they all said that even though we so badly want Rama to come back to Ayodhya, we could not agree more with Rama. We have to follow what Rama is saying. It's the absolute truth. He is covered. He has covered all his bases. He has not exposed any of his wings while debating. See, debating skills, learn from Rama, learn from the best. He has not left any of his wings open. He has covered all his bases. Every argument, every word he says is logical. Beautiful. This is how a debate is done. So at this time, he says that Bharata goes a step ahead. Okay, fine. You don't want me to stay here and do all this drama, melodrama. Fine. Exchange. I will stay in the forest for 14 years instead of you. Instead of me, you go back to Ayodhya and rule. Die. Rama says, what do you think this is? Vikritam mahitam kritam yat pitra jivata mama natallopaitum shakyam mayava bharatenava. I mean, do you think the word that we give is non-transferable? You cannot transfer that. If I have given my word to somebody, I mean, for example, if I have given my word to my father that I will stay in forest for 14 years, I cannot transfer it to my brother. It's ridiculous. Don't you know this? This is common sense. This cannot be transferred. This is non-transferable. So whatever needs to be said is said. You must return back to Ayodhya. That's the only answer. That's the outcome of this debate. This is the conclusion of this debate. We are going to conclude it today here as well, as Rama says that this is final. Now, each and every rishi across the globe, they were present there to listen to this beautiful conversation that happened between two brothers, which I am very sure that will never happen ever again in the history of this world. Rama and Bharata, two great scholars, two absolutely brilliant debaters, locking horns, and finally Rama coming out victorious and triumphant. And they all said, and all those Rishi Munis, they gave their verdict. The verdict was very simple. They said that, Bharata, you should accept what your brother is telling you. You should go back to Ayodhya. Now, Bharata knew, if this is the verdict, he knew in the depths of his heart that this was going to happen. So he had one last chance to convince his brother. He fell down on his knees. He held his brother Rama's feet. He said that, give me your paduka. Yete hi sarvalokasya yogakshemam vidhasyata. It is these padukas that are going to take care the welfare of the people of this kingdom. It's not me. I do not possess the ability to take care of the kingdom of Ayodhya. If anybody has this ability, it is Rama or his padukas. This is the moment when Bharata sought Rama's padukas, and Rama happily gave him. He took that. He made it a procession from Chitrakuta back to Ayodhya with all the band, baja and everything. He came back triumphant. Why? Because he is bringing a part of Rama. He brought Rama's paduka. That's the value. This is the value that we put on Paduka. This Paduka has inspired so many people. We still consider Guru Paduka as one of the greatest treasures. Why? Where did the idea come from? KGF, the original KGF. Gold mine, Valmiki. He is the one who gave this idea. The concept of Paduka. He derived it and he took that, he came back and he settled everybody in Ayodhya. And then he said that I am not going to stay in Ayodhya. An Ayodhya without Rama is not an Ayodhya to me. May you all people stay in Ayodhya. I shall not put my foot in Ayodhya without Rama. So he went to a nearby place called as Nandigrama. He took the Paduka with him. He did not even place the Paduka on the throne of Ayodhya. Many people have this misconception. He did not place the Paduka of Rama in Ayodhya, on Ayodhya's throne. No. He took Rama's Paduka to Nandigrama. He placed those Padukas on the throne room and then he ruled. And he ruled like nobody else did. You know what was the status of Ayodhya's income, Ayodhya's treasury? When Rama returned back, Ayodhya's treasury had increased 14 times when Rama returned back to Ayodhya. That shows how bloody good Bharata was as an administrator. Nobody could point fingers at Bharata. And it was his humbleness throughout when he said that, if I sit on the throne, if I become the king, it would be like a donkey imitating a horse. It was Bharata's humbleness. It was his vinaya, intellectual humility that came out in its pure colors. Because Bharata was very, very good administrator. Okay, so let me conclude today's session with these remarks. If